let's talk about just the traditional paper-based FSQA systems. We talked the other day, Beth and I did, and both agreed that it's worked for a long time. And I think in many ways it served a purpose originally because it established a lot of food safety processes. And it was the basis for where a lot of those programs are today. However, as those processes are becoming outdated, I think there's room for improvement. I think that, the current paradigm for food safety for a lot of companies is, establishing their food safety program, follow those SOPs, fill out logs and assessments, put the paper in binders, set it aside. And then when audit time comes, spend weeks or sometimes even months preparing for that audit to ensure that those logs are there, or they got lost, or they're incomplete. And then after that, spending hours or days, maybe even in a conference room, performing an audit, sifting through boxes and binders. And yes, while there are a lot of companies that may scan those documents and upload that to a repository such as Dropbox or OneDrive, the main problem with that process as a whole is that the audit is only backward looking, right? That producer has no ability to say for certain whether that given box of, say, peppers or cabbage is going out on the truck has followed all of the food safety practices. I think that's a big one. I think there's some other shortcomings with a paper system. Oftentimes that information, whether it's food safety or quality, isn't accessible to analysis, right? That might help improve operations. And yes, there are companies that will manually input that data, say into Excel to generate reports, but that's not a very efficient process. And it's also time consuming. I think another lack of visibility or inaccessibility of information from remote locations. We touched on that. I mean, in this climate that we're living in, that's something that's difficult to do, right? To be able to access that information, and it can be a chore and possibly even cause some friction with buyers, et cetera.